How is everyone doing out there? It's Dave from Flash and Dance Studio Service. Hope everybody is having a good couple of days. Here it is in the Northeast, and it's 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I apologize about no gig vlog yesterday, and I actually have a legitimate reason. I will, going forward, try to, I say try because sometimes it's hard. This past weekend, a lot of stuff happened. I'm sure I talked about it in last week's vlog, but here's the thing. What ended up happening was, as you can see from my forearms, they're bright red. My yard, I started cutting it on Saturday. As we know, being a business owner, being a homeowner, all family person, all these different things, all collide sometimes. Being a business owner, possibly working part-time, all these kinds of things that just go together. So what ended up happening was on Saturday, I started doing yard work because I had the Lakeville Country Club. I didn't have to be there until 4 or 5 o'clock. Karaoke starts at 6. I figured, I've got 4 or 5 hours in the morning, can go over 9 o'clock to my mom's house, grab the mower, and all that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, I'm weed whacking, and I don't know what the heck I did. I don't even know. I even was just figuring out a couple things, and I'm like, the weed whacker I don't know what happened, but I thought I destroyed the head. Anyway, long story short, I get upset. I cut the grass. I'm trying to also keep this family friendly, by the way. So you can imagine my frustration, things like that. So I end up cutting just the front yard. I didn't end up fully weed whacking the front yard. That's when I lost myself, to make it nicely said. So get that done, get the mower back here, and get all that done. Saturday night, go to Lakeville Country Club, 4:30, 4:45, end up explaining to everybody who's there staff-wise, hey, this is what we're working with. I've got an online database now, so I've got to send a link to Adam, who's filling in for me on Saturday, and that I will talk about in a moment. Probably towards the end of this. The online database was awesome. I had about 6 people use it. Sent me song requests. It's basically through a website called songbookdb.com. I highly recommend it. Anybody who's running karaoke to get that. Sure, you pay $20 a month or pay a yearly fee for it, but the whole thing is that people no longer, and I apologize for sweating. It's almost 86 here today, which is shocking for Meg. Anyway, so you got to go through and do a lot of legwork with the online database, making sure your titles and tracks and all that. And I still have a lot of work to do. And to give you an idea how much work it is, I feel like I have carpal tunnel right now. My wrist has been hurting me, so I'm going to probably have to go by CVS or Walgreens or Walmart to get a wristlet and figure out what I'm going to do about my watch. That's the one thing about using a computer and your wrists are not sitting properly, and that's the way it's been for the longest time. I just started recently having this pain, but that's neither here nor there. So, needless to say, that worked well. Karaoke was slow in the beginning, built up, got better around 9:15 or so. Had about 8 singers throughout the night, so that's amazing for being such a short time. Cool thing is there is a sign at an insurance agent that I don't even know if the building is in use anymore, but whoever runs the sign has an advertisement on there for me. I love it. The Lakeville Country Club is doing that, so it works awesome. People have said they've seen it. I'll insert a picture so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. And then Sunday, especially for those who watch this who are not from this area, the south coast of Massachusetts, the motorcycle community across the country in certain areas, especially where we have rallies, so we're close to New Hampshire and Laconia, so a lot of people go to that. and the motorcycle community here is big, strong, and I can't even describe it to you. I wish I would have taken a picture around 2 o'clock on Sunday, actually. I apologize about that. On Sunday afternoon while I was at the fundraiser for Junior Burke. I believe he is a motorcycle builder from Burke's V-Twin, I believe is the company that he owns, and I believe it's in Westport. I saw a lot of custom great bikes. They had, I believe it's Bully's Baggers was there. They had people doing tattoos. They had raffles for bands, all kinds of stuff. Like it was an unbelievable thing. Like I haven't seen fundraising or community-based type events like this in a really, really long time. And I went in, you know, and it was probably, and like I was telling the guy who let them use his property, we used to do this thing called Stock. It was his birthday party. It was an awesome time. His wife's gonna have surgery this year. I also believe they're moving this year, so I don't know what we're gonna do in the future. So anyway, it was good to see everybody that I always saw. You know, there was a guy who I nicknamed the Burnout King. He purposely had a bike built to go to Laconia, Sturgis, stuff like that. He does burnouts with it. At the Stock, he would blow out 2 or 3 tires. You know, it's just one of those fun times, like, and for that world. And I have a blast with doing that stuff. And the last band that played brought me back to my old days of being involved with the Bedford hardcore metal scene. It was just unbelievable. So with that said, I am going to put pictures and video at the end of this, but part of a gig log is when you're done after the fact and you're figuring out what you're doing for the next week or two, you start doing stuff. Well, here's the prime example of something that happens when, not that you don't have enough money to pay people, but when you want to do an event yourself, you're scrambling at the end of the event to put stuff away and put stuff back. Sometimes you don't always put things back properly. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see right here, this is my laptop bin that I take with me to every event. I started pulling it apart and I'm like, ooh, this would make some good gig log material. So what I have in here is all my accoutrements, as I say, that I take to every event with me. That's my 2 main laptops I take, which you guys will be seeing in Wednesday's tech tip, which will be tomorrow. I'm actually going to discuss my final thoughts of waves, and I'm going to show you within the video how I jump from one laptop to the other for my Waves plugins for what I do. So like for this thing I did this past weekend, it was all done via my main primary laptop. Oh, here's something that's cool. So one of the sponsors, because this is the thing, I'm not fond of this company, but I know they put a lot of awesome, great product out, and people swear by them. Rockwood Fosgate. Not sponsoring this video, but they were a sponsor for this past weekend. So, you know, so it's just one of those things that, you know, that was one of the things. Somebody was walking around handing them out, so I took one. You know, that's something that can live in here. So, yeah, so at the end of the night, I just took all my stuff and I just threw it all back in my laptop case, just because I didn't have time to do things like I normally do. Like I said, I was by myself, and it's not purposely done. It was by choice. You know, it's just one of those things. So, like I have a couple of things, like these couple of things that go in this box. And if you're hearing a little bit of noise, that's because I have my fan on. Because like I said, there's no air conditioner in here, which eventually, hopefully, if I have a new garage built on, I will have a conditioner in there so I can come outside, and paperwork from old events I'm taking out, putting right there. I actually have a bag that I put supplies in. So like this one is my Apple adapters, with me using MacBooks and stuff like that. And like this is actually kind of cool to show you, even though this could be classified as a tech tip. I have this, I believe, let's see, I don't think it has a, oh yeah, it does have a screw in it. So I believe this has a 1 terabyte SSD drive, and I always carry an extra one of these. I'm actually gonna get rid of this strap because it's starting to fray a little bit, so I will be ordering a new one. My microphone. So yes, I have my own talkback I bring with me that actually lives in this bag, which has all these kinds of little, it has like USB cables, which is a matter of fact. So like I have a 15-foot USB that lives in there. I'm gonna take this one, put this in here. That's a 4-foot, I believe, or it might be a 6, but I'll put that in there. So now that's all set. Okay, I have a charging cable for my phone. Then I have my 2 MacBook Pros that I always take everywhere I go. So, yes, this is falling apart a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. So, with that being said, that's okay. I have some free elastics that are living in here. I also have a couple of band stickers that are right here. That reminds me, I need to take one of those and add that to my blue road case because I really enjoy those guys. Ooh. You know what? Alright, so this one we don't need. That's trash barrels there. There's a little bit of debris in the bottom of this, which isn't a big deal. And one of these days, I'm going to have to show you guys this. That's my Microsoft Surface. All right. Okay. So now this is the piece that lives in the bottom of this. So now what I typically do, where is it? So I have this hard drive, which is right here. This is my No Shoes Nation drive. What that is a hard drive full of production essentials for the No Shoes or Redneck Castaway band, which is a Kenny Chesney tribute. However, we can no longer technically call them a Kenny Chesney tribute because they, after about 8 or 9 years, they ended up getting a cease and desist from Kenny Chesney's camp or lawyers, and they got in trouble using that. So, because that's his fan club. So now with that being built back, what it is I take this piece, okay, and it goes in like that. Now what I do to sort of build this thing up to support the MacBooks is that goes in first all the way up there. This gets wrapped around because this has a long cable. Then what I do is I wrap this one up. I might need one more elastic. Say 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna need one more for that one. And yes, I do prefer elastics on my cables because it doesn't bind like tape or anything else does. So I'm gonna pull out one more elastic. Because I have my audio wire that I gotta tuck away. All right, so I have this one, which is my music cable that I use a lot. So now this gets wrapped up, but that'll live on top. So now in the very, very bottom of it, I put my Microsoft Surface. And then typically I'm going to use them in a minute, so I'm not going to put them in just yet. Typically next is my 2 MacBooks and any other accoutrements that I might need. Power cables, hard drives, things like that will live on the top. The 2, my microphone, Apple cables, they all will live on top of the MacBooks just because it makes it easier. Nice and simple, so this gets taken with me everywhere. I have another one that's over there, which I will show you real quick. I have this one that is my lighting laptops. So with that being said, I hope everybody has been enjoying the gig logs, and once again, sorry from my heart, I apologize to you about not having a gig log up yesterday. Hopefully you're enjoying this. With that being said, I will post the pictures and video of what I do have from Sunday so you guys can see it. I'm glad we raised a lot of money for Junior and stuff like that. And with that being said, all right, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody has enjoyed these gig logs. I will, like I said, from my heart, I'm sorry. I apologize that I didn't post anything yesterday. There's just been one of those heck of a things that with me having and making an error cutting a ball field, like I was saying earlier in the video. So that's what basically happened. I ended up getting tied up with that. So I totally spaced it out, trying to get things done, frustrated from the weekend. So anyway, so we're about to close the video out. So I hope everybody enjoys the couple of pictures I'm going to post, the video, 1 or 2 videos I have, and enjoyed this little look at this behind the scenes with the gig log I have from this past weekend. On top of that, make sure you treat everybody the way that you want to be treated, and learn one thing every day. And don't forget, so that way you can learn, make sure you come back on Wednesday, tomorrow, and check out my tech tip, final thoughts of Wave Super Rack. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the videos. Make sure you comment down below if there's anything you'd like me to cover in tech tip or in a gig log. All right, so I will see everybody tomorrow.
What would you do if I sang out of the tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song. I try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try.